There's a version of you that knows exactly what's going to happen. Knows it'll end the same way, hurts the same way, costs the same way, and goes back anyway. This isn't about weakness. I need you to hear that before anything else. This is about something much older than willpower. He'd been sober 11 months. Not a year. 11 months, 3 weeks. He hadn't told anyone. Just made a decision one morning in a bathroom mirror, alone, and kept it to himself. For 11 months, it held. He woke up clear. He could be present with people, actually present, not just physically there while his mind was somewhere else. He thought, this is who I was supposed to be all along. And then, no trigger, no event, no reason he could name, he drove to the old place. Parked outside for 40 minutes. Went in. He didn't even want to be there. That's the part nobody ever says out loud. He went back to something he didn't even want anymore. She finally blocked him. 18 months of the same argument. Different words, same argument. And one Wednesday she just did it. Told her sister. Actually believed herself. 6 weeks later she made a new account. She told herself she was just checking. She wasn't just checking. She wasn't even sure she still had feelings for him. She'd sat with it honestly. But the silence after blocking him felt off. Like something was supposed to be there and wasn't. Like a piece of furniture you moved and your foot still walks around the empty space every single night. She went back. Not because she loved him. Because the absence felt wrong. He'd been isolating since the marriage ended. Since the business failed. Since a full season of his life collapsed at once. 2 years of barely leaving the house. Barely answering calls. And then slowly, painfully slowly, he came back. Saying yes to things. Answering his phone. Showing up to one dinner, then another. And then, right in the middle of doing better, right when something was actually shifting, he disappeared again. Stopped replying. Stopped coming out. Not because something bad happened. Because things were going well. 3 people. 3 completely different situations. All of them did the same thing. And if you've ever done the same, gone back to something, someone, some version of yourself you swore you were finished with, then I want to explain what's actually happening. The brain doesn't understand the difference between familiar and safe. It only knows, I've been here before. I know what the pain feels like here. I know the shape of it. And knowing the shape of the pain, even unbearable pain, feels less dangerous than not knowing. New and good feels more uncertain than old and bad. Think about that. The relationship where nobody screams. Why does the quiet feel unstable? The sobriety, the clear mornings, the version of yourself you actually recognize in the mirror. Why does being okay feel like a trick about to end? The job that's actually working. Why does it feel like it could fall apart any second? Because something in you learned, by years, by the wrong people, by a season you survived, that the hard thing was the real thing. That suffering was the baseline. That peace was the gap between the bad things. And when peace stopped ending, when it just kept being okay, day after quiet day, the waiting became more painful than the original wound. So the body reached back, not for the bad thing, for the familiar thing. Those aren't the same, but they feel identical from inside. He went back not because he was weak. He went back because 11 months of being okay had left part of him permanently braced for the fall, waiting for peace to prove itself a lie. When peace just kept showing up, stable, unremarkable, quiet, the anticipation became unbearable. He went back to stop waiting. She went back not because she still loved him. She went back because loneliness stops being abstract when it sits across from you at breakfast every morning. She went back to fill something. The problem is, she filled it with the same thing that made the hole. He disappeared, not because he was afraid of things going well. He disappeared because 2 years of surviving had become his whole identity. When the surviving stopped being necessary, when it was just life, just the ordinary forward motion of days, he didn't know who he was anymore. So he stepped back into something he recognized. Going back isn't a failure. Going back is information. It's showing you, precisely and without mercy, the original wound is still open. Not the behavior, not the habit, not the person. The wound underneath all of it. He didn't need to stop drinking. He needed to deal with what drinking was covering. She didn't need to block the number. She needed to learn how to exist in the silence without it feeling like she was disappearing. He didn't need to force himself out of isolation. He needed to find out who he was when he wasn't in survival mode. Remove the bandage without treating what's underneath. Of course the body reaches for it again. Of course, that's not moral failure. That's how every deep pattern actually works. So the question changes. You stop asking, why do I keep doing this? And you start asking, what does doing this protect me from feeling? Because the answer to that, the honest answer, the one that costs something to sit with, that's where the actual change happens. Not in the willpower, not in the streak count, not in the deleting and blocking and throwing away. In sitting with what's underneath, the grief that never got a name, the shame that never got addressed, the version of yourself that's been waiting quietly for you to come back and finish something. That's the work. Invisible, slow, no sense of progress for a long time, but it's the only work that touches the root. You've gone back to something. Maybe not what they went back to. Maybe something smaller. Maybe something nobody knows about. But something you told yourself you were done with. Something you reached for in a quiet moment. No audience, no accountability, and just picked up again. I'm not here to judge that. I'm here to tell you that going back isn't the end of the story. The morning after the going back, that's where the story actually is. That's where they are right now. Still trying. Not because they're strong. Because they decided the work isn't finished. Neither is yours.